Welcome in, everybody. Josh here, 8-Bit Goonies. I am back tonight to do, well, let's start talking about gameplay of Sorcery. I've been opening tons of boxes on here. If you've been following the channel, and thank you so much for doing all the like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. It really means the world to me. The channel's growing like crazy, and I love that. Been playing some games, been jamming some games. I thought the Interrogator was my go-to deck. I kind of built it as my staple. I can't. I won like one game with the interrogator. It's a very aggressive deck, and I'm dying. Like I'm getting off to a good jump, and I'm losing fast. The Necromancer, which I built as kind of a secondary deck, is actually I've only lost one game with Necromancer, so it's been very tough. This is a mono water deck with a little touch of air, and you'll see it. I'm missing some good cards out of here, so this is it's not a budget deck by any means, but it's not. It needs some expensive upgrades. I don't have any of the oomphs. I've opened a ton of Gothic. I haven't got any of those. What are they? Doom follows the monument or the spell casting monuments. There's only one for sale on eBay right now. It's $160. I'm not going to pay $160. I'd rather just open a box for nearly just a little bit more than that. So anyway, I'd take you through the deck, explain how things have worked for me. There's a card in here, a play set of cards in here that have just really surprised me and are worth their weight in gold. We'll get to those here in a minute, but I thought we'd just go through my deck card by card. I know a lot of people do their deck tech and deck analysis on the Curioso. It's a great website. I use it. I love it. But I just want to go through the physical cards. We'll just make sure everything's recording. Everything looks good. All right. So let's go through it. Overflow. Draw a site. You may play a water site. That's amazing. It's ramp. It kind of replaces itself. Yes, it's not replacing itself with a spell, but it's replacing itself with a site, and you get to play a site. We have some really good sites in here we'll get to at the end. I'll do the sites last, but I do play two overflows for their ramp abilities. So I think it's a great spell. Draw a site. You may play a water site. It's ramp is ramp. It's good in any game, anytime you can try to get ahead. It's awesome. Riptide. Target water site pulls an above ground unit to it. Let's start that again. Target water site pulls in an above ground unit it's adjacent to. Draw a card. First off, it's a cantrip. It replaces itself. Second of all, the power of water is moving your opponent or your creatures, but mostly your opponent's creatures where they don't want to be. There's a lot of things you can do with Riptide. It's very situational, but there's so many situations that it's useful. It's fantastic. And the fact that it replaces itself, even if you're just buying yourself a turn by moving an enemy away from your avatar at death's door, whatever it might be, it's awesome. I think it's a fantastic spell. I just run two of them. It's because it's again, it's not something you need all the time, but it cantrips, it replaces itself. Those are the only ordinaries in the deck. Then we get into the exceptionals. First off, Gnarled Wendigo. I do run all three Gnarled Wendigos. It costs two. It's a 6/5, but it costs two less for each minion you sacrifice at its summoning location. You'll see in here we do produce some frogs. some so Gnarled Wendigo oftentimes is far less than 6 mana. In fact, I probably wouldn't play for 6 mana. Not to mention we have the Necromancer, right? So the Necromancer automatically is going to be giving us the skeletons to sacrifice. So even if we don't have the frogs out, we're probably going to have one or two skeletons we can sacrifice to get out of Wendigo as well. So then you're talking about, even if you sacrifice one or two, you're talking about 2 mana for a 6 or a 5 attack minion. Pretty good. Lugbog Cat. I don't know how you can go wrong with Lugbog Cat. Yes, it has to be played to a water site We're going to be turning a lot of our enemies' sites into water sites as well. I absolutely love this spell. It's 3 cost for 4 attack. It's great. It just is a great spell, and the artwork on it is fantastic. It's powerful. It can defend. It can trade really well. Love the look cat. I do run. I had actually initially started with 3 of these guys. I have dropped them down to 2. They are a little sticky. They have the ward. Nearby sites can't be destroyed by your opponent. That's not so much the big deal. The big deal is the 3 for 3 with ward. Ward is such a good sticky ability. It's really a nuisance for your opponents to get rid of it. You're talking about 2 for 1 because they're going to have to either attack twice, cast a spell, attack, something to get rid of these guys. I do like ward. It's a very powerful mechanic. Swap. I find swap. I do run all 3. I might cut it to 2, but at the moment I am running 3. Swap the location of target minion or artifact with another target minion or artifact. Um Again, it's one of those things, it's very situational. Buy yourself time. You can swap enemies away from you if need be, or get your big guy to them very fast. It's also great if an artifact just happens to be lying around, somebody dies, something's left behind, or whatever it may be. Um, yeah, swapping artifacts around. Obviously, you're talking about swapping your a skeleton that you've summoned for some good artifact to come to you. Um, I find swap to be very good. At the moment, I am running all 3. Snowball. Now, I was about to cut Snowball, and then I thought about it. You'll see. There is a spell later on that works amazingly synergistically with Snowball, but Snowball is actually it's a fun card. So you shoot a projectile, it picks up all other units along the path. So if you shoot it from your necromancer, say your starting location, it's going to pick up all enemies till it hits the end, and then it boom, and then um, they all take damage equal to the number of units in the snowball. So thinking of skeletons, you might have 2 or 3 in the path, and then you can get obviously, ideally, you get their enemy avatar in the path as well, or maybe you have, I don't know, 7 frogs in the path as well. Can be devastating. Pile of skulls, I'm probably gonna cut. I only have 1 in there at the moment. Once on your turn, you may banish a card from a cemetery to summon a skeleton token here. I keep it in there as both graveyard hate and to add to my skeleton army. It's basically now you're paying 1 mana per turn to summon 2 skeletons per turn. It is a bit expensive at 5, though. That's the problem with it. If it was 4, it would be amazing. 5, you hate to waste 5 mana on something that you're paying 5 mana, you're only gonna get 1 skeleton that turn. You have to make it pay off over a few turns. However, if they have something in their cemetery that you really wanna get rid of, it's almost worth the 5 to put it out there, get rid of what's in their cemetery, and in trade, you get a skeleton for it. So, situational, I may cut it. It's right on the cusp of being cut right now. Mimic, I think Mimic is a great spell. I run 2 Mimics. Um, Basically, when you summon a mimic, you transform a carryable artifact into it under your control. So obviously, you can eat their Philosopher's Stone, their Aquamarine, any of their cores, any of that. There's a lot of really good artifacts in the game. So just to be able to get rid of an artifact, not only that, but then you've got a 2 attack creature sitting on top of their avatar. Usually, not bad, not bad. I think it's awesome, and it's such a flavor spot on flavorful thing to do. Um, Failed Mutation is next here. Failed Mutation is just a powerful creature. It's a 4 for 4. The fact that it can't be targeted or damaged by magic. It gets around a lot. It gets around a lot. It almost has a special type of evasion. I do run all 3 because I need bodies in this deck, and I think it's a great body. and it can get around, like I said, a lot of stuff. Koi Nixie, we're running, of course, 3 Thin Ice. We're going to run 3 Koi Nixies. It has Submerge. Once on your turn, Koi Nixie may force target nearby enemy to take a step towards her. Tap that enemy if it's untapped. So obviously the combo is on Thin Ice. We'll get to that here. I run 3 of those. On Thin Ice reads if there's 5 or more power at the end of your turn, submerge all the creatures. So in fact, this won me the game the other night, or didn't win me the game, but it really helped me to win. The other thing is you could combo it with the Necromancer ability, because what you do is, well, actually, what I did last in my game last night is they had a 2 power creature next to on to Thin Ice. Koinexi was, of course, on Thin Ice. I lured it with the Koi Nixie to Thin Ice. I then cast a skeleton. So for 1 mana and the Koi Nixie ability is a removal spell, basically. Lured that 2 attack minion over it. 4. Summon the skeleton. Yes, I lost my skeleton. The Koi Nixie has submerged, so they fall into the ice, kills their creature off. Koi Nixie's just fine. And then next turn, I was able to start to come back up and basically start the whole process again. So super powerful, very fun card, very cool. Fey Changeling, I do run 2 of those at the moment. It's an unsummon, basically. Yeah, it's a 1 power card. Not anything to write home about on power, but unsummoning a creature is very powerful, especially with the way people can cheat out creatures, and I'm definitely cheating out creatures with this deck as well. But it may be summoned to any site, so anywhere on the board, or sorry, not anywhere. I can't come to the void, but any site in the board that they've played. So anywhere they've got their big creatures, or they're massing something, or they, um, like I said, I cheat creatures out with this deck, so I know that it happens. Fey Changeling can put it right back in their hand. Whatever they, hoops they jump through to summon it, you can counteract that with Fey Changeling. Acid Rain. I just put this in. I haven't actually even ran it yet or cast it. I think it's a pretty powerful thing, though. Silence affected sites and artifacts there. So it's not just sites. Now, they still get threshold. So you're not taking away their threshold with Acid Rain. But there's some very powerful sites. And to shut those off with Acid Rain. And then if you can get it on, obviously, back into where their avatar is, you're shutting off at least for a turn or 2 until they get out of there. You're shutting off their um, artifacts. So I just ran 1. I just put it in. We're gonna see how it goes. The Abaddon Succubus. Once on your turn, you may lure a target adjacent enemy minion. Take a step closer. When it arrives, it takes 2 damage and you heal 2. It's a 4/3. So not the best stat line, but again, the water has the ability to move creatures where your opponent doesn't want them to go. That's powerful. That's, again, there's situations where it's better than not. Um, but the fact that you can bring it to you and gain life as well, when it arrives, it takes 2 damage. So, I mean, in theory, she can kill a 5 defense minion by luring him, and then obviously she'd die in that situation. But you'd gain 2 life. You take out a 5 drop, so, or a 5 power, 5 defense creature. Polymorph, it's a 2 mana removal spell. Transform nearby minion into a frog token. So again, you put that on something big, something scary. I only have 1 in there because I only have 1 copy of the card. So I would run 2 if I had a second copy. When I pull a second copy, we'll be looking at running 2 polymorph. Symmetric Suffering is just a fantastic card in the deck. Sacrifice up to 1 minion, 1 artifact, and 1 aura. Up to, so you don't have to sacrifice all. Your opponent must sacrifice the same for 3 mana. Obviously, the minion, you're going to sacrifice the skeleton nearly every time, or frogs. We'll get to frogs here in a bit. Um, Artifacts, maybe, maybe not. Auras, fantastic. Sometimes they have a really powerful aura out, and if you've got an aura similar that's ran its course or done something, perhaps acid rain, um, you can get rid of eclipse or something, that's just stifling your game. So I run two of those. Great removal spell. Um, the Diluvian Kraken. Submerge, tap, surface to strike each other unit nearby. It's expensive. It's an 8 drop, but again, we're going to be cheating stuff out. Now, the Orm Infester, actually, I just pulled this last night and I thought, you know what? I'm going to put that in just because it's free damage. I just put one of them in, Burrowing Submerge. It's one of those cards. It's only 3 mana. You get it into their um basically, while he's in your territory, it's a net 0, right? So he deals 1 damage to you to the site, and you heal 1. So net negative is at net 0. Um, but once you park it in an enemy's land, burrowed or submerged, so they can't get rid of it in either of those ways, you start um just pinging. It's a 2-point life swing every single turn. I think it's gonna work good. Um, Lacuna Entity, great, great creature. Submerge and Void Walk, so it can go into the void. And obviously, we're playing underwater a lot, so underwater is good. When it on Genesis, drag target weaker minion from adjacent site to here, ignoring uh, regions. So again, on thin ice, um, summoning it into the void and pulling it into the void. A lot of good things you can do with Lacuna Entity as a removal spell. Into the Abyss, I only run one. I think I only have one copy of this. I might run two at some stage, but submerge target minion or pull it into a void it's adjacent to. Basically, it does the same thing that it's a removal spell. It's 4 mana. Basically, remove anything almost, for the most part, right? It has to be on a water site or next to a void spot, and then you can remove it for 4 mana. The Dormant Monstrosity, again, another void walk, must be cast to a corner. I think I only run one of those, yes. So must be cast to a corner void, costing 2 less for each unit in an adjacent square. It's usually, sometimes you can get that off. But you get it, ideally into one of their corners. We do have, again, ways to cheat it. 7/6. I'm playing around with it. I don't know. It's one of those borderline I may cut. Mix Aqua, I do run one of those. The mixes are fantastic in my book. Sacrifice this turn, bears next water spell, requires no threshold, and costs 3 less to cast. I talked about cheating stuff out. This is one way we're cheating stuff out. Self same simulacrum may be summoned as a basic copy of a nearby minion. Um, just a good spell. We have a lot of big creatures in this deck. People try to get a lot of big creatures out. Um, it's just, yeah, self same simulacrum. You can copy something. It's a copy spell. Copy spells are powerful. Sacred Stag needs no introduction. Everybody who's played the game has probably ran across a Sacred Stag. Um, it's a 4 for 4, 4 attack, 4 defense for 4 mana. Ward and Deathrite. You may ward the site. I'm not too fussed with warding the site. At least I haven't come across that as being critical, but just the ward on itself, making it sticky, you have to kill it twice type situation. Such a good card. I run two of those, of course. Now here's the game winner in my book is Shapeshift. I run two of them. An allied minion tries to transform. Look at your next 5 spells. You may choose a minion among them in a new to be the new form. Put the rest on the bottom in a random order. 5 deep. You're gonna hit something good. That's why I run some big creatures. I do run two of those. last night in my game, I hit. Where is it? There we are. We're almost done with elites, but I'll do this card next because on my shapeshift, I shapeshifted a skeleton into a great old one. 16 power on the board for 4 mana. Um, plus permanently floods the entire realm, including voids. That way, everything is a water site. Um, it was brutal. You got a 16, and actually, I had that skeleton on my avatar, and it was a very aggressive deck I was playing against, and the great old one was there, and I think he had like 2 minions next to me getting ready to swing, and they're very low on life, but the great old one was able to defend one, kill it, defend the other, kill it. I had a skeleton out to defend as well. Yeah, the great old one was just beautiful. I also had a Magellan's Globe, so I was able to move the great old one. Um, no, he had a Magellan's Globe out, so I was able to move the great old one right into his space. It was fantastic. Good stuff. Um, then I run 2 Adept Illusionists. I do run in the sideboard some spells that we need to spell cast, and these guys are just sticky. They're 2/2 for 2. Tap, search your hand, cemetery, or spellbook for another Adept Illusionist. Summon it nearby, shuffle if needed. So when you get one, as soon as you can, I tap it to get the other one on the board. Then if one of them dies, you tap it, you bring him back. The other one dies, you tap it, you bring it back. They're just a sticky situation. They're hard to get rid of, and they're spellcasters that can move around the board as well. I think they're pretty useful. Then we get into the uniques. So set these off to the side, and we'll just get into the uniques now. Serpelius, I do run some air sites. This is my only air spell in the main deck. There are some in the side deck. You probably guess what they are. But Serpelius, submerge, moves freely between water locations. The fact that he can just go anywhere in your body of water is absolutely amazing. And he's 4 attack for 3 mana. He's a great card. He's, yeah, only one of in the deck, but if he gets on the board and you play Great Old One or Atlantean Fate, he's awesome. Kiss of Judas. This is a finisher. This turn attacks against target avatar can't be defended. You draw a card whenever they are attacked. Um, I think it's just a great finishing spell. You know, they've got a couple, 2, 3 guys near their avatar or on their avatar they're looking to defend with when you've got them on death's door. Kiss of Judas can't be defended. You're going to get your damage through. Plus, it's amazing artwork. It's such a cool card. Yeah, it's definitely worth running in the deck. Atlantean Fate. Everybody knows this card. This ran across water. Affected non-ordinary sites are flooded. They are water sites. Only provide water threshold and lose all other abilities. And then submerge all minions and artifacts atop the affected sites. So, I mean, that's just devastating. Um, Non-ordinary sites. Now that is the key word. It took me a second to parse that. I think when I first read this card, I just thought, man, you're just getting rid of all of their water or all of their threshold. That's absolutely devastating. But its non-ordinary sites are flooded. They are water sites and only provide water threshold and lose all of their abilities. So non-ordinary sites. Their ordinary sites are unaffected. But submerge all minions and artifacts atop affected sites. So again, you can use this on your sites as well if the enemy is there, or because you get to hit 4 sites with it. That's powerful stuff, man. Powerful stuff, and it's a usually it's not a necessarily a one-way board wipe, but it does affect obviously them a lot worse than you because you get to choose where it goes. So, um, devastating card. Archangel Raphael. Awesome card. Airborne Ward. He's a 5 for 4. Genesis strike or ward a nearby avatar. So depending on where you play him, obviously, more than likely he's not going to be able to strike them unless you got some shenanigans going on. But he puts a ward on your avatar, which is awesome. And then he just starts going, you know, moving as an airborne creature can. Plague of Frogs. So one of our frog ways, summon 7 frog tokens. It doesn't say where. It doesn't say at target site. So you can summon 7 frog tokens anywhere that you can summon a minion. So you can spread them out. If you've got a snowball in hand, you can line them up for a snowball effect. You could put some as defenders, some as, you know, it's such a versatile card, and it's 1 mana. Yes, 3 threshold, but in this deck you're getting to 3 threshold on turn 3, 4 at the latest. So great card. Oh, yeah. It, I've never, yeah, it's not a problem playing it. At first I was like, what can you know, what can you do with the frog tokens? But then there's snowball. There's the Wendigo that you sacrifice them to. There's defense. There's a lot you can do with a frog. So to be able to put 7 anywhere on the board, that card is awesome. Captain Baldassare. Whenever Captain Baldassare attacks a unit or site, the defending player discards their topmost 3 spells. You may cast each of those spells once this turn, ignoring threshold requirements. You do have to have the mana for it. It's a random card, but you can usually get something decent out of it, and I think it's awesome. It's card draw basically. It's resources. 3 resources go into your hand basically when he attacks. So that's pretty cool. The Aquatic Manuscript. Tap, reveal your topmost spell, and draw it. Bearer takes damage equal to the card's cost. The froggies can use the manuscript. So you can put, I don't know, 3 or 4 frogs at one site, put a manuscript on one of them, tap it, draw a card, it dies. Next frog picks it up, taps it, dies. You see what happens there. So, um, awesome. It's such a good card. Or you just put it on, yeah. I've put this on a few different creatures. To be honest with you, I've put it on whatever I need to draw cards. It's drawing cards is priceless. Thing in the ice again. This is right on the cusp of it's disabled for 3 of your turns. Can't be the target of damage or magic until the ice melts. It's a delayed 6 creature. Now it is 3 turns. 3 turns is a long time, but if you can get it out on turn 2 or 3, and we can certainly get it out on turn 2 if it's in hand, it's pretty powerful. You know, so I again, it's another card on the cusp. Again, you'll see I don't have the big cards. I don't have what the Mother Matron or the Lilith or the um. What's the other big card? The Iano. So if I pull any of those, I do have some cards I can cut. Lord of Unland, Submerge. All other allies occupying Lord of Unland's body of water have +1 power. If you got frogs in that body of water, they're all +1s. Um, he's just a lord. Think of Magic Lord, same thing. +1 to all your allies nearby. Very cool. Very powerful. Great little card. Pied Piper of Hamelin. First of all, I love the Pied Piper. He's one of my favorite like characters in lore and history, right? Like um in Ultima Online, I don't know if I'm old school. Ultima Online, my main character was a um tamer bard. I love that game. So Pied Piper was the last card we talked about there, guys. And then finally the Aquamarine Core. You know what the cores do, provides 1 threshold and 1 mana to its controller. For one, it's one of the best cards in the game, in my opinion. Between that and the mix, you got a chance to ramp. All right. Last thing we'll go over here. Quickly, the sideboard. Um, We'll see. I do have some air just to cast my 3 air spells and my um Sir Peleus. I run a disenchant, a lightning bolt, a grapple shot, and a zap. Mostly these obviously disenchant is of course enchantments. We got a couple spellcasters in there, and then zap, grapple, and lightning bolt are to finish the game on death's door. Uh, and then I've got 3 Shogoths and 3 horrible hybrids, and we'll need those when we get into our sites. So let's run through the sites real fast. Um, so I do run 2 of the air sites, the Gothic Tower and the Dark Tower. They're ramp, so they work good. And then they give you the 1 air threshold to cast Serpilius or the stuff from our sideboard. I do run 3 troll bridges. Again, we're moving stuff around the board. We're moving the enemies where they don't want to move to, so that's fantastic. The first time a lone enemy enters here, strike it unless they discard a card, so it strikes it for 3. Or they can discard a card. Again, we're moving stuff around, so very cool to have that. I do run 3 undertows, staying within Genesis, staying within this body of water, move a target unit 1 step. So that can be your unit or their unit, pushing stuff around, moving stuff, getting stuff closer to where you need it to go. Very situational, but useful in many, many situations. Thin Ice. I do have a foil Thin Ice there. Very pretty card. Um, we talked about this earlier. If you have 5 or more power, if there's 5 or more power on the site at the end of the turn, they crash through the ice. Poinixie is obviously the big play, but we have other ways to move stuff around, crash them through the ice. We have plenty of creatures with submerge that can survive that. I do run the full play set of lighthouses as well. I mean, it's air in there as well. Peculiar Port is an exceptional site. I just run 2 of those at the moment. I probably will put in a third. But Genesis, you may cast a horrible hybrids from your collection at this site. So basically, you get a free 3 mana, a free 3 attack creature at the site. Peculiar Port. Plus, I just absolutely love that artwork. We've got Babbling Brook. I just run 1 of. It's to slow down those aggressive decks until your next turn. Minions are disabled while atop nearby sites. I can throw that up. I've got another means to do that as well. This deck is a little bit slower. Sometimes against the aggressive decks, we get attacked pretty quick out of the chute. We get beat up sometimes pretty good. Babbling Brook is just a good way to slow them down. I run the playset of Deep Sea, of course. That gives us our 2 water threshold from 1 card. Hard to beat that. Next, we've got 2 floodplains. Once on your turn, you may flood an adjacent site this turn. Try to get that next to theirs so that you can just keep their site flooded to move creatures in there underwater or use submerged things of that nature. I'm thinking about putting a drown or 2 in this deck just as straight up removal. Seems pretty good. I do run 2 Elder Runes. These are what gets our Shogoths. Sacrifice a minion here. Cast a Shogoth from your hand. Or submerge. Cast a Shogoth submerged here from your collection. Bleh. So yeah, again, sacrificing a skeleton to get a Shogoth. Shogoth is a 5 attack minion. Submerge and Void Walk. That's tough, and you're trading literally a 1 drop, 1 mana creature for that most of the time. Kelp Cavern, good card. Look at the bottom 3 spells, put 1 on top of your spell book. It's a super scry. That's awesome, and it gives you the water threshold. I do run 1 of these, the Island Leviathan. I've never actually transformed it, but if you do have 8 threshold, you get an 8 power minion. and it becomes a flooded rubble site underneath. It's pretty sweet, man. It's pretty sweet. I've just never done it. Then we have an Innsmouth dock, unique site. Once on your turn, you may lure an adjacent minion to step here. Again, moving creatures around wherever we want them to go or away from us, however we need to. It's powerful, powerful stuff. We have Mirror Realm. Site enters the realm as a copy of another nearby site. We've got a lot of good sites. Might not have two really good sites. And then lastly, more frogs, the tadpole pool. If you got three water thresholds, summon three submerged frog tokens here. So in theory, we can make a lot of frogs with this deck if we get the right cards in hand. So that's the gist of it, guys. That's where I am at the moment with my water necro. I really like the Necromancer. Like I said, I have done far better with that card than I have with the Interrogator. Um, I really do want to build a Seer. I do like that card a lot, but I was able to pull the foil Ironclad. So next deck build is going to be an Ironclad. I'm gonna start working on that tonight. I got some ideas for it. I just love the scry ability. I think that's such a cool free ability. Although this is also a free ability as well. It takes 2 less damage. So super cool. Anyhow, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you appreciate it. Maybe you got something out of that. Maybe gave you some ideas. If you have any ideas for me, by all means, drop them in the comments. I always respond. I always like to chat. But yeah, just wanted to jump on and show you my Necromancer deck that I'm actually having some really good luck with. Much better than the Interrogator. That's it for now. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. We'll talk soon.